yesterday, Susan Collins confirmed that she will support Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson's nomination to the Supreme Court. They met for an hour. Susan Collins says she'll explain here, and that's how she came to that determination. Look, I'm happy she's supporting her, but that's pretty much BS. But first, let's hear what Collins has to say.
Well, I had been evaluating Judge Jackson's record for some time. I applied the same standards that I've applied to the other Supreme Court justices for whom I have cast votes. And I met with her for an hour and a half before the hearing, watched much of the hearing, and then I met with her yesterday for an hour. At the conclusion of that extensive review and conversation, I came to the conclusion that she clearly had the credentials, the experience, the qualifications, and the integrity that I look for in a Supreme Court justice. I'm sure that I won't agree with every decision that she casts on the court. I haven't agreed with every decision that any of the justices for whom I voted have cast on the court. I also don't agree with all the decisions that she's made as a district judge, but I wouldn't expect that. But there's no doubt that the ABA, which gave her its highest rating of unanimously well qualified, reflects my views that she is well qualified.
Okay, so look, again, I'm happy that she made this decision, but I don't want to give her any credit here. I mean, Susan Collins, the standards that she applies, what she says, she applied the same standards that she did in terms of interviewing and making a decision based on the past Supreme Court nominees. Now, she did vote against Amy Coney Barrett. That's correct, right? She voted against Amy Coney Barrett, but she voted yes on Kavanaugh. It's a little weird because Amy Coney Barrett had a pretty seamless confirmation process, thanks to Dianne Feinstein praising her endlessly and not really having the wits to conduct said confirmation process. But the issue here is that she doesn't have a universal standard, even though she's claiming to do so. She is pro-choice as a branding exercise, and she makes her decisions based on these Supreme Court nominations because it is a branding exercise. And she chooses the path of least resistance and the less risky path every time. So Ketanji Brown Jackson was going to get confirmed no matter what. But she feels like she can get some sort of credit here by voting for her. She realized her vote was not going to be necessary for Amy Coney Barrett, so she didn't give it there. And yet with Kavanaugh, she realized it might be a little bit tighter. So despite his incredibly belligerent testimony, she decided to vote for him anyway. What frustrates me here is that she probably will get credit for this. And she uses her branding in order to normalize the Republican Party, when the results of what she actually advocates for and pushes for, and the nominees that she votes yes on, there's really no difference in terms of the outcome. But it's just the way that she brands it and presents herself. So, McConnell gave Republicans the green light to not push so hard on Ketanji Brown Jackson. Someone like Lindsey Graham uses this as an opportunity to further his branding by, spitting everywhere and yelling at her. Ted Cruz, same deal. Josh Hawley, same deal. For them, that's what they're appealing to, right? But they are the Republican Party. Susan Collins is a complete outlier. And the standards that she uses have nothing to do with their judicial philosophy. If she was really pro-choice, she wouldn't have confirmed both Kavanaugh and Amy Coney Barrett. It's based on, how can I show myself as some reasonable centrist, moderate Republican? McConnell doesn't want them fighting hard on this nomination because it doesn't really change
well, it's like the context. Look at the scoreboard. Like,
yes.
They've already packed this thing. The idea that you wouldn't support who the Democrats put up after, like supporting, and also Democrats supported Gorsuch, like Donnelly Manchin and Heitkamp, which was just even that one in the wake of like the Merrick Garland thing, which another, like, gosh, Democrats are so bad. But like the idea that like you wouldn't let the Democrats seat someone on the court. Well, it's like, it's clear that if you didn't do that, you're pushing it too far. And not that, who knows how far you could push it before the Democrats actually do something about reforming the court and putting it back in its place, which is subservient to Congress, in my opinion. Like we have this little pageantry about who can be a statesperson, and Susan Collins wins, I guess, today.
Yeah. Again, behind the scenes, they're all making these determinations based on political calculations. They're appointing political actors to a lifetime appointment on the court. And they're going to make policy decisions because we have enabled judicial review, and the right wing has been aggressive about it. And McConnell has the luxury of allowing for, like, it's the end of the game and you're up by 20. All right, you can allow them to get a few chunk plays.
Get some highlights.
Yeah, put the kids out there on the court, or you can allow them to get some chunk plays, so you don't play too aggressive defense if you're using a football analogy, and say they score a touchdown with a minute left. You're already up by 2 scores. Like, that's how he perceives this. And Susan Collins is padding her stats.
Practice the fun stuff you wouldn't do in a close game.
Yeah.
Like QAnon stuff.
Exactly.